the FNM's candidate for Fort Charlotte, who is the Minister of State for Finance, the Honorable Zhivargo Laing. Minister Laing, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Let us begin with a good explanation of the money that the government is giving away. You're calling them grants, but these monies are being given away in your self-starter program and in your Jumpstart program. I imagine it's millions of dollars we're talking about.
You know, almost every developed and developing society tries to grow their business community, their entrepreneurial class. And almost all of them have a grant process in doing so. What they recognize is for many entrepreneurs, young and not so young, being able to get their foot in the door of a business, the hardest impediment, the most difficult challenge is the funding, because you're untried, no one knows you, you're just going out there, so a bank isn't going to lend, some investor who's savvy isn't going to just throw his money behind some notion you have. And so what the state tries to do through its agencies is to give you a feeder, a seeding into your business effort, and to not encumber you by requiring you to have payback terms that causes you to eat into the little revenue that you might get as you start this new business. So many states have what we call grant funding for businesses. In the case of the Bahamas, we started out with the self-starter program, where we said to young people under 30 years old, we will give you up to $5,000 to start your own businesses. Now, this is not monies in their hands. This is a person who has to bring a business proposal, say these are the vendors that I need to pay in order to get my material or so forth, and the government cuts a check to the vendor. And so they're allowed to get up to $5,000 in that regard. We had over 600 persons who have been approved under that program. Approved meaning they got the seeding. Yes, they got the seeding for the program. 600 persons. Well, we started this in the height of the recession, the crisis, where young people were finding it difficult to have jobs, but said, you know, I could probably work for myself if I had the tools to do my carpentry, if I had the tools to do my electronics, if I had the other material I need to do this little landscaping business. And so we gave them a start in that way. Persons who were over 30 said, yes, but I'm out here the same way and I need help too, because I can do the same thing. And so we decided to start to do Jumpstart for them and to give them up to $7,500 under the same premise. In the first segment of this show has been the Minister of State for Finance, the Honorable Zhivargo Laing. He is joined now by Darron Cash, who is the FNM's candidate for Carmichael. Sounds like you needed help. I don't think you needed help, Minister, but Darron Cash is here. We're going to continue our discussion on the economy, on economic growth, and some other indicators. Darron Cash, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. As I already note, you are as provocative as ever, and it's certainly a pleasure to be with you.
Well, it's good to be back here, and it's good to have discussions with persons like yourself.
Yes, I'm happy to be.
We always saw you as a bright, rising star on the political firmament, not only in the FNM, and in the economic and financial firmament as well. What's your outlook for things?
Well, first of all, I'm here because we have an impending election, so let me start there. I am confident of victory for the FNM in Carmichael, and beyond that, I'm confident of an FNM victory at the polls on May 7th. I think in general, Bahamians understand that this administration has done a fantastic job in guiding this country through one of the most difficult periods in our history. I'm optimistic about the future, and as I go through Carmichael, speaking to people and reminding them that the foundation that has been laid, that the work that has been done in terms of balancing, strengthening our social safety net with making sure that we continue to invest in institutions, in physical structure, in training and development programs, all will ensure that the Bahamas is positioned for growth as we continue to move out of this recession and face what I think is going to be a very, very strong period over the next 5 years. So I'm very optimistic, and I believe that in general, Bahamians are too.
Sounds like you are subscribing to this view that investment in infrastructure pays off down the road.
I don't think any reasonable person in politics today will dispute that. I hear...
Well, the dispute would be, why not invest in intellect, in human development, as opposed to roads?
You will note that during my first response I used the word balance. A government, a responsible government, has to be balanced. You cannot do one at the expense of the other.